Hello everyone, Andy Pickering here. Welcome to the Crypto Conversation. This is my weekly market sentiment update. So I'm going to scroll through the wonderful world of crypto Twitter to tease out the important data narratives or data points and narratives that are going on in the market as we begin the new week. So as always, the best way to watch this video is of course on the Brave New Coin YouTube channel, but you can also listen to this just as a normal podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever as well. So look, you do you guys, whatever works for you. Just before we get into it, of course, we do need to shout out our sponsor, Nexo. Are you ready to grow your wealth with the world's leading digital assets institution? Well, that's Nexo. Did you know you can earn up to 12% on your digital assets with Nexo's high yield savings account? So if you're ready to treat yourself, treat your crypto and treat your fiat, well, you can with Nexo. And they have the industry's best crypto and fiat services, such as compounding interest paid out daily. There are 18 available cryptocurrencies, including BTC, ETH, and Litecoin, heaps of stablecoins, and many others as well. And there are 3 fiat currencies accepted: the euro, the pound, and of course USD. Plus, there's up to $375 million worth of insurance on all custodial assets. Top-ups and withdrawals are available at any time, and there are 0 fees for using the Nexo Earn Suite. Very easy. If you're ready to start earning, just go to nexo.io, and of course that is spelled NEXO.io. And now it's on with the show. All right, so if we start over here on bravenewcoin.com, and we can see the markets are down to start the week. Really all markets, certainly crypto, stocks, shares, equities, all risk assets. Yeah, a bit of a hammering just to start off the week. So we can see Bitcoin is a little bit over $30,000, and ETH is down under 1,800 US. So we can see this on our friendly heat map over at 360. Yeah, just a good sea of red, really. And if we keep an eye on the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, as we like to do, as it was last week, we're still at extreme fear. So market sentiment still not great at all. And look, it's the same with the more traditional equities. Fear and Greed Index published over here on CNN, also at extreme fear. A week ago it was at fear, month ago fear. So yeah, a little bit of uncertainty, I think, in the markets at the moment. One reason for this, of course, look, this is just this is a headline from the Wall Street Journal. So yeah, the Dow falling 700 points. So that's its worst fall since October. So that's the same across all equities markets, really. So what's the cause? I mean, there's a few things going on. Obviously, the inflation numbers from the last week were far worse than many expected. And of course, the Delta variant of COVID, which is just spreading all across the world and, making many countries have to go into new lockdowns or not. But so just renewed fears over both inflation and the Delta COVID variant. So just with inflation, so this is the New York Post front page from last week. Gotta love that. So the incredible shrinking dollar and inflation. Yeah, so it was up 5.4%, biggest jump since 2008. So that just means, consumer prices, everything is more expensive, right? And especially food. So Bloomberg here, they say the cost of feeding the world is the most expensive it's been in some years. And the food price index, it's basically at its highest level in a decade. So yeah, that's and again, that's there's no one single cause for that. It's obviously the the pandemic and supply chain disruptions and just inflation caused by the central banks around the world, their response to COVID. So what else is happening as we start the week? Well, financial regulators in the US, they're really honing in on stablecoins, right? So there's a lot of talk at the moment as to what kind of regulatory framework might be used when it comes to stablecoins. And of course, the backdrop of this is, as different nation states start to look at their own digital dollar, effectively a central bank digital currency, effectively a digital stablecoin. You could say that some authorities are slightly less inclined to want competition. So they say that current stablecoins, the likes of Tether and so on, are risky, like the wildcat bank practices of the 19th century. This is according to Yale economist Gary Gorton and US Federal Reserve Attorney Jeffrey Zhang. So they've written a paper, and in the paper, what do they say? They basically say it's really important to regulate stablecoin issuers as banks, again, so that they can, when they want to issue their own central bank digital currency, it's important just to have one uniform currency in their view. So policymakers should learn from history and not make the same mistakes again. So it's quite a harsh paper. If you want to read it, this is the summary of it. This is where you can download it. It's called Taming Wildcat Stablecoins. So I think if you just Google that, it will come up. So, they say that the newest type of private money is upon us in the form of stablecoins like Tether and potentially Facebook's Diem, formerly, of course, Libra. And they say that based on lessons learned from history, we argue in this paper that privately produced monies are not an effective medium of exchange because they are not always accepted at par and are subject to runs or bank runs, right? And so they present various proposals to address what they say as systemic risks created by stablecoins. And so those proposals include various regulation options, regulating the stablecoin issuers, making them effectively have to function as legal banks. And of course, they also talk about issuing a central bank digital currency. So yeah, not really great news, but look, this is just a paper. So who knows what will come from that, but something to keep an eye on. Treasury Department not looking super friendly towards stablecoins at the moment. What else is going on? Yeah, so here we are. Some fun stuff. Talked about this a little bit last week. The B word. That's what it's called. Is that what it's called? Yeah, the B word. How institutions can embrace a Bitcoin. So this is like I guess it's a conference, virtual conference happening in 2 days' time, and as I kind of talked about last week, so it's confirmed now that the event will feature a live discussion between Elon, Jack Dorsey, and Cathie Wood. So, of course, three heavyweights, if you like, in the world of, well, in this context, in the world of Bitcoin, right? So we've got Jack Dorsey, of course, is the CEO of Square and the Cash App. Cathie Wood, she runs ARK Investments, and they are big supporters of Tesla and Bitcoin. And of course, you've got Elon Musk, who is, well, is he a supporter of Bitcoin or not? Hopefully, we'll get some clarity. It'd be great to get some clarity from him on his kind of current thinking, right? And so how will we do that? Well, this is good. This would be a great opportunity for Jack. Obviously, Jack is an outspoken advocate for Bitcoin. It'd be great for him and Cathie as well, perhaps, to really dig into what Elon's thinking. And so Elon, in his own inimitable style, of course, said today that during this talk, we will sing a cover of The Final Countdown by Europe. That's a great song. Was that from the 80s? I believe it is from the 80s. And so Jack says, "Can I borrow a wig?" And Elon says, "Sure, I have a ton." So, of course, anything involving Elon is always going to be that unique mix of seriousness and complete non-seriousness. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You can't really afford to miss this. Got to watch what happens. So B-Word launches 9 a.m. PDT time, July 21st. So I think that's about, roughly just under 2 days, day and a half away from now. So that's this week, coming up very soon. Again, just run through the speakers. You got Elon, Kathy Wood from ARK, Jack Dorsey from Square, John Newbury from Brink, Adam Back from Blockstream, Lynn Alden, and Nick Carter. So yeah, fantastic lineup. Yeah, look forward to that. What else is happening? Checking in on Plan B. He's out on a boat, but he's still tweeting once or twice a week. Nothing new here. Bounce or break? That is the question. Can stock to flow hold? I mean, most people have pretty much given up on stock to flow, not necessarily because they just, think that price action is not holding to the model. They just think maybe, was it really a valid model in the first place? Yeah, anyway, going to be, it'll be controversial whether when it does break, just because, so it's been interesting and part of the Bitcoin narrative for so long. And look, strange things could happen. What if it did hold true? That would be amazing as well. So again, just a fun narrative. When will stock to flow a break? And what will Plan B do? Will it even break? What if it doesn't? Anyway, fascinating as always. What else is happening? Yeah, so this is Axie Infinity, right? This is a Substack post from Not Boring by Paki McCormack, and it's about Axie. Infinity revenue, infinity possibility, Axie Infinity. And basically, I know I mentioned Axie Infinity last week as well, but everyone is talking about it at the moment, and this is a great kind of deep dive. And again, it's just the numbers are insane. So, here we go. In April, Axie did 670K in revenue. In May, 3 million. In June, 12.2 million. In July, 18 days into the month, we're at 79 million. And Delphi Digital, they project that they will close out the month at 153 million, which is quite insane for a tiny little blockchain game, right? So yeah, Axie protocol doing very well all of a sudden. And of course, there are, lots of, so yeah, this is good. One of the cool things about this is obviously there's lots of people in the Philippines and Vietnam. These people have sometimes they have limited opportunities, right? You could be a Uber driver, or a food delivery driver, or a laborer, or a worker. Sometimes it's hard to get a job, right? But a lot of people there, they've quit their jobs and they can do better playing Axie than they could, being a laborer or an Uber driver or something like that. So they earn Smooth Love Potion. That is a good name. SLP, the Smooth Love Potion. And of course, you can play the game, earn that token. And then if you need to, you can exchange it for fiat and make actually a pretty good living in the Philippines or Vietnam. So I think that's quite amazing. So again, Axie is proving out a lot of things important to crypto's long-term success, such as NFTs are a thing, and they will be a thing, and they're going to keep being a thing. Non-crypto people being onboarded into crypto through a video game, just early signs of the metaverse, right? And crypto being able to create new economic opportunities for all kinds of different people globally, not just whales or DeFi degens or Bitcoin maxis, but just normies or the mainstream. So, and really it's growing incredibly fast because crypto's network effects can create unbelievably fast growing businesses with moats. So yeah, absolutely fascinating. So, and this is, as I say, it is a deep dive, tons of information there, and it's just fascinating and really just something to keep an eye on. What will be the next Axie? I don't know. But do recommend you keep an eye on Axie. Anything else? CZ. Yeah, Binance. So you're probably aware that, there's Binance are under a little bit of pressure at the moment with various regulatory bodies around the world starting to say, hey, maybe you should be mind your P's and Q's and so on. And so I think Binance is slightly on the back foot at the moment, but this is a good thread from CZ. So he kind of says, 4 years in, Binance has ticked most of the boxes in our white paper from 4 years ago. So amazing to think Binance, they didn't exist 4 years ago. They just published a white paper, rolled out the exchange and very quickly became the biggest exchange in crypto, which they really are still to this day. They've got some competition, but still doing big things. So they've rolled out all these different features that they said they would. And CZ says, yep, this was our UI. It wasn't that professional, but we've improved it. This is the schedule on when they would do all these things. Yeah, and kind of hitting their goals. Build a DEX, burn 100 million BNB. Yeah. And I guess to close out the thread, CZ says, this is just the beginning. A new chapter awaits us as we embrace compliance and regulations. So I think that's the key point there. If you just, it's just one sentence, but you read between the lines there. I think CZ is perhaps acknowledging that, the best path forward really is to embrace compliance and regulations. So interesting to see him say that. Easy enough to say, sometimes harder to do in the global kind of environment that is crypto. And of course, as we talked about last week, you got Eric Voorhees and Shapeshift kind of going in the other direction in terms of their kind of shutting down some of their legal entities and decentralizing and turning everything into a DAO. So just fascinating to watch the two different approaches. And yeah, we'll see what they do and where they go. All right, that's mostly it for today, team. What else is happening? Just thought I'd finish on this one because old mate Kanye West is heavily rumored to be releasing a new album. Now, we've heard this before from Kanye, of course, and Kanye is slightly notorious for announcing the release of a new album and then not following through or getting stuck back in the studio making changes, because that's who Kanye is. He's eccentric. It is what it is. But, there is a feeling that this one is going to come out. This is the artwork, as I understand it. It's called Donda. Quite striking, quite amazing. Kind of looking forward to it. I got to out myself that I am a Kanye fan, so I'm going to be looking forward to it. I hope you do too. All right, well, that is us for today, team. Thanks for listening to the end. Thank you for indulging my Kanye commentary. Don't forget, if you want to get at me, you can drop me an email, andy@bradenewcoin.com. Get at me on Twitter, @AndyPickeringNZ. And please make sure you stay subscribed to the Crypto Conversation. All right, thanks, team. This was the Crypto Conversation for a brave new coin. See ya.